It's been a while since I don't show up on social media, and today I've been going through many insights, and I want to share some of them with you. And I'm 30 years old already. I'm CarlitoFluito for those that don't know me yet. And what I bring for you today is a collection of different reflections concerning what's the values of our society and how they have been oriented us in the sense of what we understand as each other as human beings also, and the way we interact with ourselves, so and with each other. And especially I want to make a reflection about the role of AI in all this equation, because I think it's super relevant into the transition that we are going through, and hint some ideas about what can be the solution or the possibilities that are ahead in front of us. So starting with the problem first, in our society we are a future-centric society mostly. So especially all this hustle culture is focused on what you can do in your life and how you can provide value, which is the second element of it. So it's results oriented, it's output oriented, and it's future oriented. So the main purpose and the main source of meaning that a lot of people find in their lives is all about what can I achieve in the future, what can I do in the future, and what value I can provide to others in the future, and how the actions that I'm taking are aligned to that right in the present. Unluckily for us, and unluckily for all this philosophy and all this paradigm, we are in the situation that it's impossible to predict the future, actually, because if it's always impossible to predict the future, now it's even more difficult because of the way the AI is advancing. It's like in 1 week there are advances that were predicted for 8 years, right? And I was watching different videos where it's very clear like things are going a bit out of control, especially when capitalism is the engine behind the progress. Then we find out that, yeah, the most important thing is how quickly I can move, how quickly I can implement these changes, and how much money I can make out of it. So we are living in a moment where it's impossible to predict the future more than ever, and we are output oriented. So what this means is like your value is what you can create, what you can produce, which puts you, at the end of the day, as a human, you are like another machine or another tool that is on service of society or is on service of your employee or something like that. So how can produce things that are valuable? And yeah, unluckily for you, again, AI is there providing value and in many occasions doing the task that you might do in a way that is way faster and likely with a better quality than what you can create, which means that your value, that you just become a commodity. And this is the situation now, is you are highly replaceable, and the point is that you are replaceable is because you are considered as something that creates an output and something that has to provide value. And this is something that I have been, let's say, suffering for a lot, because it's 100% my paradigm, and this applies at least in the workspace. So yeah, you are a commodity, and there are cheaper, faster, better alternatives coming up doing what you do. And I might be wrong, and I don't know what you do, but this is true for a lot of people in this planet right now. So another very beautiful point of the paradigm that we are at the moment is like, if it was difficult in the past to have clarity on what life to take and to develop and how to orient your resources and your energy and your time, now it's even worse because you can virtually do anything, right? Because you just don't need huge resources, you just don't need huge amount of knowledge or information. Even you are free to do and choose and become whatever you want, which implies for a lot of people a huge existential crisis, because it's like, what do I want? What could you do all the days of your life for the next 15, 20, 40 years? And Yeah, sounds like a bit of a challenge. So, well, depends on your age. You might be on an explorative phase, trying different things, or you should have things more or less figured it out, and you should know in which direction you move. In my personal case, because I am a very curious person, open to experience, I have been trying many things, and I still, and this is kind of problem. It's like paralysis by decision, right? Like, okay, now that I can do everything, what do I want to do? So it's the choice and the maturity of sacrificing all the potentialities for becoming one thing. And yeah, if you are lacking clarity, well, lucky you. We have plenty of coaches around that can help you that, and especially the coach that I was working with, Ezekiel, with Identity 101, is one of the best processes that I have done to find clarity in my life. So yeah, and finally about our identity, like you are, when we introduce each other, like what do you do? But then we say like I am a copywriter, or I am a salesperson, or I am a content creator. So we place our identities next to our activities, or the main activity that we do, which is our job. Therefore, in a world where our job is becoming expedient or unnecessary because of the advance of AI, what are we? Welcome to the age of AI, where we all as a society might have to reconsider what are we as an individuals, now that most of the work is simply going to be obsolete. And many people think like, no, the job just will be modified, or new jobs will appear, so forth, so forth. Yes, but what if not? That's a very good question to consider. And yeah, what's gonna happen with many people? Having said this, and now that we have this understanding of humans as products or humans as commodities, and this happens not only in the workspace where we can replace for machines, but what's going to happen also in the dating space and even in the friendships. Like soon, yeah, our best friends will become computers that talk, and they can listen to us, and they can mirror our emotional needs and our psychological needs, and they can tell us what can be best for us or not in these situations, and we will feel understood and listened, and that's very beautiful. So what's your value also in the dating space? And this is something that happened as well because of this consideration of we as providers of value. Very interesting times coming. So yeah, there is this wonderful quote that I read, which is like, why are we putting so much effort into making humans like machines that are like machines, and making machines that are like humans? So this bringing a lot of these circumstances. So what is our source of meaning? And this is the part where I'm speaking a bit more on the solution aspect of it. So where are we going to find meaning, purpose in this life? I wouldn't like to go very deep into the philosophy of this, but it's like the absurdism of life. Like we are here alive for a while. There is nothing very explicit or very specifically that we have to do. So at the end of the day, like, okay, we are born, we stay here for a while, we do something, and eventually we die. Yeah. So there is this very nice, beautiful philosophical approach, which is absurdism, which is about like at the end of the day, what you have is a couple of truths. One of the truths is you are alive. Another truth is you are alive now. And another truth is you are free to choose what to do now. And yeah, that's basically it. And the rest is pretty much fugazi, where it doesn't make much sense. So, and if when you look at the big scale of pictures, it's like the whole planet is going to disappear, and the whole universe will even disappear at some point. So, what is it left? There is not much left. So, what do we do with our time here? Because there is no purpose beyond. Then we have to shift the paradigm to the other side, which is like we are future oriented. So then we have to become present oriented much more. And yeah, let's focus on us, on this present moment, on our awareness, on our experience of existence, which is something quite spiritual that there is other spaces where I could develop this, as well as let's focus instead of outcomes and results in the process of being alive now. And yeah, so what are you learning? What are you going through? What are you doing that is it brings joy into your life, and what are you experiencing? And the main activity is not work anymore, because work is focused on the product, unless you are doing work focused on the process of learning something. But I believe that the most important activity that a human being can do is play, because it's a seemingly purposeless activity that is going to bring meaningful connections to your life. And this, at the end of the day, is one source of meaning that any healthy human being can find in their life. So the meaning can come from having relationships with their family, either their parents or their children or their spouse, as well as their friends, and as well as themselves. So at the end of the day, place is, let's say, is the most efficient, just to speak about efficiency, but it's the most natural, let's say, is the most natural organic activity to understand yourself and to understand others and to relate with yourself and others. So and because it's seemingly purposeless, like, on many occasions we play for the sake of playing and that's it. Now it's about, yeah, it's about creating the connection with the other person. That's the meaning and the purpose, if you need one. And yeah, and what I learned recently from playing with a feather is like, the way you play is a fractal expression of your behavior in life. So just, I could refer to this very briefly. It's like we were playing with a ball, and the idea was kicking the ball with the foot, right? And I saw that one of the person in the group was always kicking with the right foot in a very standard, precise way. And on the other hand, I was trying with the left, with the right, kicking on the front, kicking higher, kicking low on the side. So this is speaking about how I navigate life, and probably how the other person navigates life, which is I'm a very explorative, creative, curious person, and I also like challenging and growth in myself, right? So this makes me like a versatile, complete person with a lot of experiences. But I'm not a master. But I'm not like someone that has go really deep into trying and mastering one way of executing things. On the other hand, we can assume that the other person is much more focused and he wants to master one specific thing. So the amount of errors that he commits is way lower than me, that the ball is always falling to the ground. And this is something that you can learn only when you're playing and with a bit of self-reflection of what's going on in your life. So this is only one insight that you can have in a playing session. And if you want more playing sessions, I'm CarlitoFluito and I'm hosting Playing Camp, and this is a safe environment for adults to reconnect with the power and the depth of playing, and understand better themselves, understand others, and through a seemingly purposeless activity, you can develop very intense, powerful, and deep, meaningful connections, and spend your life doing the best that you can as a human, which is play, while you let the machines work. Thank you very much, and I see you in the Playing Camp.